So I'd like to introduce Mr. Mike Hill, the President and CEO of PanCare Health, and this is Robert Thompson, his Chief Operating Officer. So, Mike, if you'd like to.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a real pleasure to be here this morning, Chairman Massey, Ms. Sanders, Commissioners. Ms. Sanders, I had the opportunity to work with you back many years ago when we were trying to establish a federally qualified health center when Dr. Janejo was here. So I'm no stranger to Franklin County, and Kurt Blair, my good friend, whom I haven't seen in quite a while, I see he's still here. But I don't want to bore you all with a lot of facts and figures, but I do think that it's probably necessary to give you a little history of PanCare. I am the founder and CEO of PanCare. I actually incorporated PanCare back in 2003 and opened basically a free clinic in Panama City with the help of the Health Council and the Health Department. And in 2005, we were granted FQHC status with the federal government. And the following year, we expanded into the dental services to the point to where now we operate clinics in Bay, Walton, Liberty, Calhoun, Washington, and Holmes County. We operate 9 clinics, 2 dental clinics, and 7 medical clinics. We also have a fleet of mobile units. We have 2 dental buses that provide 6 operatories that are on the road servicing basically the school children in Bay County at this time, and 2 medical units that are yet to be put into service but will be used in the outlying areas of the rural communities. When Marcia approached us, we were eager to help in Franklin County. It's like I said, I've been coming here myself since I was a small child. Matter of fact, my uncle used to be with the old guard unit, and when the war broke out, he left here and went to Camp Blandon and then to New York, then to North Africa. So I've got strong family ties, have been in Franklin County for many years. What we're planning on doing is initially staffing the dental clinic for 3 days, 3 full-time, or having a full-time dentist here for 3 days a week. And we plan on going in and trying to make the building a little more efficient. Right now there are 2 operatories, dental operatories there, and that's really not sustainable for a dental practice. So we're planning on increasing the capacity by 2 to go to 4 dental operatories, which will give us the opportunity to operate 5 days a week and have the hygienist have a room to do hygiene, as well as the dentist to have the use of 3 rooms to work on patients. I will tell you that we are not a free clinic. The federal government expects us to at least break even. So we do provide dental services on a sliding scale. Our dental service fee to see the dentist is $50 a visit. I imagine that most people will fall in that range. We do serve everybody, whether they've got insurance or the ability to pay. We serve them all. We're not going to turn anybody away that shows up that has a real emergency. And a real emergency in dental is usually an abscess. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions. I do need to speak to the grant. The grant, we submitted that, Robert, when was it?
Last Tuesday? Last Tuesday?
Yeah, last Tuesday the grant went in for the expanded services. If that comes about, we will receive basically $300,000 a year for 2 years to operate that expanded program. At that point, what normally happens is they roll that into our base grant. And so we anticipate being here a long time. I look forward to Mr. Watson to working with Weems to help improve the health services in Franklin County, and with Marcia and David at the Health Department to do our part and do what we can to help out.
Where your building located at?
I'm sorry?
Where the building located at?
The building will be in Carabel. We will be at the Health Department in Carabel.
Okay, now, the children, on the children's side, what gonna be their cost?
Well, it depends. What we normally do with children when we go to the schools, we send out permission slips to the parents to where we can do the work. And those who have Medicaid, we bill Medicaid. Those who don't, we see them basically for free.
So it's gonna be the same program like the type you had before?
Yes, sir. He'll just expand the number of rooms so that they can hopefully see more clients all at the same time.
Now, on that expansion, with this other federal, we got one FQs, I see him. Is they gonna let you do that?
They can't stop us if we're granted the award. Matter of fact, I have permission to be in Franklin County now with the mobile units in our scope of services.
So that won't be no problem.
No.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hill, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah.
When do you think the grant decision will be made?
Well, you know, it's the federal government. And they move rather slow. We're in contention for the grant for the FQHC in Gulf County, and that grant actually, Marcia's grant actually ends this month, and we've still not heard officially from HRSA. Matter of fact, I got an email last night from one of our contacts that worked closely with them and says, oh, they expect a decision in 2 weeks. But I will tell you that we're not letting grass grow under our feet. We're meeting with her employees today to actually negotiate employment agreements with them, as if we're going to be the ones and we're going to be there. We're currently providing services. When her doctor died unexpectedly and she called, we said, yes, we'll be there tomorrow. And so we're providing a doctor in Gulf County right now 1 day a week and a behavioral health person. We're going to move forward as if we've got the grant. Knock on wood, I've never been denied an expansion grant when we've applied. We have a pretty good track record. And we were in a similar situation in Liberty County when they lost the FQHC status over there. We took that one over and have been operating that now. I guess we're in our 2nd year over there and doing quite well in Liberty County.
Let me ask you a question. Do this go like the other FQIC? You have a mile limit in there?
I'm sorry, I have a hearing problem, Mr.
Do
Lockett.
you have a mile limit in there like the other FQIC?
Well, that's debatable. What they normally do is they'd love to have 30 minutes or less travel time, but the rule is actually an hour. They want an FQHC within an hour of whoever needs the service. There is actually no written rule on mileage. It's just the stronger your case is, the closer you build a stronger case, the closer you are to the population that you're going to serve.
Well, the reason I'm asking, I don't wanna, I appreciate what you're doing and that you're doing a good thing, but I still want it to be open just in case our hospital wanna do something like that. And they won't be landlocked, but like the one we got in East Point got us landlocked now.
Well, I can't really speak to East Point, but I can tell you that we serve the whole county and every county that we're in.
Okay.
Anybody else got any questions?
You have any, Smokey?
Now, Robert, would you like to say anything? Thank you all very much, and we look forward to being good partners with the commission and the health department.
If you have any questions after this, you can get in touch with me, and I can get your answers, or answer it or get your answer.
Mr. Chairman, I've got one question for Ms. Marshall. Ms. Marshall, are we having any services out of the health department over in Carabel at all?
Yes, Helen is there on a part-time basis doing women's health services. Wick still is there, and Lisa Hogan does immunizations, and on the days that Helen's there, and on Wick days, and vital statistics as well. It is part-time, it's not every day.
The reason why I ask is I have a lot of people call me and say, well, they went down there to get so-and-so and they wasn't open. So if y'all can make that a little bit better, for the
Okay.
people to know when you're open and when you're closed.
We'll work on that and make sure people know exactly when we're there so they can plan at that
Thank you,
point.
ma'am.
Thank you for the feedback.
Mr. Chairman, I just have one more question. Ms. Lindeman, one of the things that we talked about, she had called about getting an inspection to see if an additional external generator at the health department would be available. So I went out there and was talking to her about it. And I gave her the idea, and we're still in the discussion stage, but I don't tell the board about it. You know, the board still has a 250 kW generator at the work camp. It's not being utilized. We certainly like to have the hospital use it. Right now, they're not in the need of it. And so I've told Ms. Lindeman that we're still looking at numbers, but it's possible that at some point in the future we'll come back to you all and they would pay to have that 250 kW generator relocated to the Apalachicola Health Department, where it could serve both the health department and the hospital, but at least get it online sooner because they would have a need and they have some money to do that. So we're looking at that options now, and they're seeing what kind of capacity they need and such like that. But I'm trying to get that generator into a location where it can be utilized by people and have the health department help pay move it.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank
One other thing, I've got a card with all my contact information on it. If y'all got any questions or need anything, just feel free to reach out to us.
Thank you. Yeah. Ms. Pinky Jack will supervise the election.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank y'all for letting me speak today. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk with you and the public about the presidential preference primary that's coming up on March 15th. I wanted to let everybody know that we'll be staying late today for any registration updates that the folks may need to make, and we'll be making a public service announcement on the radio today as well. We'll be staying till 8 o'clock at the office to receive those registration updates. I also wanted to announce to you all and to the public that early voting begins on March 5th and will continue, that's a Saturday, and will continue until March 12th, the following Saturday. That's the 8 days that we're required to have early voting by Florida statute. The times for the voting will be 8:30 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. We have 2 locations, and that'll be at the Carabel Annex and at the Apalachicola Supervisor's Office. The primary, just to let the public know and remember that it's for only registered Democrats and Republicans. It is a major party primary. And I also, while I'm here today, want to thank you for doing what we needed to have done for the county to make the new equipment grant happen from the state of Florida to Franklin County. And I also want to thank you for the other funds that y'all made available to have all the equipment in place for the upcoming election. Our citizens are well served by your efforts, and I thank you for your support of the Supervisor of Elections office. And thank you for letting me be here today and speak with you all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Mr. Kurt Blair, TDC.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'll try to make this quick. Our collections in October and November looked real good. Actually, October was up 10%, or rather 17%, November was up 10%. It's pretty good for the fall months, so we're happy with that. Of course, we don't know whether that was more people or more money, but in any event, the numbers are working in the right direction. I wanted to quickly tell you that, as I think Commissioner Parrish mentioned one time, we've been hearing from local lodging companies about the need to fill midweek beds as opposed to weekends. And we've started something on the understanding that nonprofits and the events that they provide give us an opportunity to move people in the direction sometimes of those events, and certainly gives people things to do to complement their trips. We've started a program with some nonprofits, and we'll work with any of them to begin driving events to midweek. So we'll be seeing the effects of that shortly, and we're giving them a little extra boost in their grant if they'll start doing events on the midweek. We had received 2 Visit Florida grants last year, and we're moving ahead with those two. One is to do a continuation of our maritime display that we did last year in Carabel, the fish display. We're doing another similar thing in East Point. And then we're doing a prototype for visitor centers that we hope will provide some standardization for some of the interior design for the visitor centers. This year, we've applied for 2 additional grants, just submitted 2 weeks ago. You have copies of them in your packet. One is to do some public service announcements on the strength of the bay and what we're doing to sustainability. And the other is to focus on pet-friendly lodging and entertainment activities, because we're finding that's a big issue to a lot of our visitors. And so we're going to be inventorying those, assuming the grant's approved, and then doing some marketing specifically in that market. Our board will be finalizing our recommendation on the Camp Gordon Johnson contract at our special meeting on the 24th, so we'll have a recommendation to you hopefully at the next meeting on the contract that Michael's been working on. The legislation is still up in the air. The House continues to have some pretty objectionable items in their bill, but there will be an amendment this week on the Senate side which limits the damage to most of the TDCs and focuses more directly on the counties west of us. And we'll see that amendment will pretty much take Franklin County out of the impact of any legislation, assuming that bill gets passed, out of the legislation this year. So we're optimistic that the Senate bill will be the one that will be taken, and we'll see how that goes. We'll keep you up to date. Our board heard this last month a request from the Big Bend Scenic Byways. You'll remember that they had, they're going to build about 6 or 7 kiosks around the county promoting the byways, and you all have seen contracts on those that for the county, for the use of property that the county has. There was one site that was identified in the byways plan on Millender Drive in East Point there on that road that abuts Aner and the little park there. And the state has indicated that they don't want the kiosk there because they don't want it on state property. So the representative from the byways came to our board and asked if we might consider putting it at the visitor center. That's the only one in East Point that was going to be erected. And our board said, well, it's kind of up to you, but we would accommodate that if that was a direction that you all thought was a good idea. The other locations, there's going to be one in Appalachia, there's a couple up in Carabel, there's some on the highways leaving the county, one up at the Ocklackney River and one on State Road 65. So they're going to be reasonably well dispersed around the county. But this particular one in East Point, the state said they couldn't have it on their property, so Big Bend's looking for another location, and they had asked if we would be interested in putting it there. So you don't have to make a decision now. They'll be getting up with you, I think, and with Michael on a change of the lease agreement we have, and we can deal with it then if you want.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Kurt, did the board, the TDC board specify the location of this sign?
No, they didn't. In fact, we're in the process of getting the property surveyed, and they wanted to wait until that was done before they made any recommendations on location. They just posted those flags yesterday, and it's a good thing we had it done, because there was no way we could have anticipated the side boundaries accurately without the survey. Frankly, I have not gone and pasted out yet. We know where the markers are on the road, but that property goes back a good deal, so I'm not ready to make an opinion on it, but it does reduce the width of the property from what we had anticipated you all might own. So I want to take a little bit of time with that, and the board didn't want to make any decision until that survey was done.
I just don't want to put no signs up anywhere out on the highway going to the west to block my friend's driveway to the,
Yes, we've moved those.
okay.
Yeah, they were moved from in front of his property to now in front of the property where the visitor center is.
Okay.
As part of, the next item, as part of our partnership with the Riverways organization, you've heard their presentations before, and I've discussed with them. Riverways has recently gotten a grant with Visit Florida to participate in 6 trade shows over the course of the year. And this is a machine that's driven by Visit Florida, but the first 2 are going to be ones that the representatives from Riverways are going to shadow, if you will, to see how all of this is done, and then the organization will have 6 trade shows around the country that they'll be going to promote the area. I've been asked to go to the one in, of all places, Madison, Wisconsin, next month, and but the good news on that is that this is the Cornucopia Trade Show, which is the largest paddling trade show in the country, or perhaps the world, but I'll just go as far as the country is concerned. And we're going to be able to promote not only the Riverways, but we're making a specific effort to promote the paddle jam that Themo Petrosi, I never can pronounce his last name very well, but Reverend Themo's doing on paddle jam and his quest to get the world's largest paddle jam activity. So we'll be promoting that when we go. As a result, I'm going to be traveling for the next meeting, second of the month, so I won't be here next month, but if something comes up, I'll have somebody here that can answer questions, or we can bring items to you the beginning of the month, March or April, so if that's all right with you. Finally, the webcam that used to be in Apalachicola is down. It's been down for a while because of renovations on the city building. The Main Street people have come to me and asked if they could work on getting it replaced, and I agreed that since we had money in the budget for us to do it, and they wanted to split the cost with us, I thought that was a pretty good deal, so our board has approved an agreement to work with them on getting that replaced. And finally, our board meeting on the 9th is going to be canceled partly because of the travel. And we're going to have a special meeting on the 24th to do the Camp Gordon Johnson, and I think there are a couple of other things that our board has to do. So, but we won't be meeting on the 9th. And briefly as I can, that's our report. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Anybody got any questions, Mr. Kurt?
I have a comment. The TDC was the sponsor of the St. George Island Tour of Homes, which was very successful this past weekend.
Good.
They had over 700 people attend. So,
Right.
and their marketing
We're happy about
that
it.
you provided helped.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Thank you, Mr. Gert.
Thank you.
Mr. Jason Priggert from the airport manager.
You got bids. You got to do that page first. You're talking about the project. There's Mr. Chairman,
Okay, I
I'll
missed,
give you
I'm
next
sorry. I see it right here. Okay, bid opening.
It'll just take a minute, though. We have bids for a project, which is a FEMA-driven project. It's hopefully the last, no, I shouldn't say that.
Yes, don't.
I'm not going to jinx anything. We're repairing, once again, the revetment on Alligator Drive. This is a project that was been delayed significantly and for many years for different litigation purposes. We've got all those resolved now. This is a repair project, for those of you who are familiar with Alligator Point. The section that is east of Tom Roberts Road, that now is a permit, and we're now going to repair that and put some more rocks in there, take out the rubble. It's not going to dramatically change the profile. It's not going to take away the concrete revetment structure we have on top to keep people from going up too far, but it will make that area a little stronger. And it's FEMA funded.
Page 3.
And he says page 3, but that doesn't do it. Go back last. Okay, the first item, number 1 here is North Florida Construction, a bid to repair the revetment. $194,780. $194,780.
Bid bond.
He told me to look at page 3, which is not where the bid bond is. I tell you what,
Bid bond.
yeah, it looks like power of attorney here, yes, I would say a bid bond, yes. It was in the notice. Next one is Coastline Development, Coastline Development.
We did North Florida construction.
I'm sorry, the first one,
Tallahassee.
well, it doesn't say there on the outside, but I'll take the chairman's word and say Tallahassee.
Yeah, they from Tallahassee.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it looks like Tallahassee, right. All right. So next one is Coastline Development, Tenny Butler. This is out of East Point. And $81,538.80. $81,538.80. And I will defer to the big bid bond. But, oh, here, it's right here. It's right here in the envelope. Okay. And the next one is Roberts and Roberts out of Tallahassee. Roberts and Roberts out of Tallahassee. $137,860. $137,860. And a bid bond right there. LG Contracting out of Tallahassee. LG Contracting out of Tallahassee. They provide a cashier's check, which we accept in lieu of a bid bond, so there's cashier's checks right there. And $99,992. $99,992. 0 cents. That's it. I recommend it. I will say that some of these bids do fall within the amount of allocated by FEMA, so we do have some of the bids that are within the allocation range, so we do have qualified bids as far as money goes. I recommend we turn them over to our engineering firm to get a recommendation back to you all.
So move.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries, and we got one for Franklin County, and he's a bidder, like bidder this time now.
I understand. Well, we'll look at all the qualifications. I would say there's a tremendous range for some reason, which is, but anyway, we'll come back to you on the recommendation. We want to get this job done as soon as possible. I really don't want to get it done before turtle nesting season, so I have to deal with that issue. And it's not a big job, so I would say that the next board meeting, we can award the bid, which would be the first meeting in March. We ought to be done by May 30th and be safe.
All right, Mr. Jason.